Here's what I do know, which is where my disappointment comes from. When you are as great as Floyd Money Mayweather, everybody doesn't deserve to be in your space. I know you like to make money. You're never gonna stop making money. Very, very few people on the planet know how to make money like you know how to make money. But some of this stuff has got to stop.
Stephen A. Smith delivers a blunt reality check to Floyd Mayweather, arguing that money is cheapening his legendary status by chasing paydays long after the fire has gone out. He insists that at this stage in their lives, both legends are past their prime, and a rematch would be a hollow cash grab that the sport simply doesn't need.
I hate it, guys.
What you hate?
Yeah, because I wish Floyd didn't have to do this. He made enough money, he shouldn't have to do this. And I don't, maybe he just wants to come back. Maybe there's an itch that he needs to scratch. Maybe the competitive juices are flowing again. But when you talk about Ocho, let's just say for the sake of argument, these are exhibitions. Yeah. Floyd hadn't fought 3 fights in 1 year since 2005. That's over 2 decades ago. It doesn't, even if it doesn't look good, because sometimes the mention of like, Floyd is broke. I don't know if Floyd is broke.
Shannon Sharpe doesn't hold back, sounding the alarm on a legend who seems to be losing his way. He paints a grim picture of a billionaire athlete who might be chasing a high he can no longer reach, or worse, a paycheck he desperately needs.
Now, you hear things that, tax, he owed this person. I saw Logan Paul was talking about that he owes him, and some Greek company is suing, some Dubai company is suing him for $10 million. I don't know if there's any truth to that, chat. I really, really don't. I don't know Floyd's finances, and I don't know anybody that knows Floyd's finances. But it's just, man, I just hate this. I hate it, when you heard the story of Joe Louis, how Joe Louis had to come out and had to fight much longer than he should have, Ocho. I hate that for guys when they have to do that, because they take such a beating when they're in their prime, when they're young. Yeah. Boxing, even when the hair gear and you sparring, Ocho, you still get hit upside your head. Yep. It's just like when you play football. Yeah, you got a helmet on, but them damn legs still hurt.
The conversation takes a dark turn as Sharpe compares Mayweather's current path to the tragic downfalls of boxing icons from the past. It's a haunting reminder that in this game, the price of staying too long is often paid in more than just dollars.
Yeah, like I do it for fun, but obviously it's a business, so money is is a motivation. You know what I'm saying, to make money. But it's just like, it's if you're a true student of the game, and you're studying film and you go to the gym and you start working on things, you want to pull that off in a fight. So it's just, it's just being a student in the game, man. So
Gabe Rosado pulls back the curtain on the fighter's mindset, revealing that this isn't just about a paycheck, it's an obsession with the craft. He frames the comeback as a high-stakes experiment where a master technician returns to the lab to see if his genius still works under pressure.
And as for Floyd and Pacquiao, man, it's like, it's going to be, I think it's going to even be a better fight this time, only because, obviously they're going to be, they slow down. Floyd can't, I don't think he's going to be able to move as much as he used to. And then, Pacquiao still kind of got that flow with him. He showed it in Barrios' fight. So, I think we know what Pacquiao's going to bring to the table is going to be more interesting what Floyd got. You know what I'm saying? And Floyd still got those movements. You know what I'm saying? Because, Pacquiao's more of like the straight up fighter, where Floyd relied a lot on his speed. Yeah. We know that shit go. Like, you're not gonna have speed. You're not gonna have speed when you're 50. Yeah. I mean, so yeah, I think it's gonna be a very competitive fight just because of both of them slowing down. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's gonna be good. I'm gonna enjoy that fight.
The tension builds as Rosado argues that their declining speed actually makes this a more dangerous, explosive encounter. By losing their defensive safety nets, these two legends are forced into a phone booth war where neither can hide from the other's power.
I probably might, man. I probably might. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be at the Sphere. What is it called?
At the Sphere. Yeah, I think it's the first boxing event at the Sphere.
Yeah, it's wild, man. But look, man, these are two guys that, like, I know people look at their age and go like, man, they old as hell. But you gotta think about it. Like, they both live healthy lifestyles. Floyd's not Floyd's not that type of guy. He don't do, and neither does Pacquiao. And these are guys that they're legends, and they always stay fit. You never see them look, overweight or anything like that, man. So yeah, they're up there in age, man. But at the same time, these are guys that really take care of their bodies. And let's not forget, Bernard Hopkins became world champion at 48. And Bernard Hopkins was beating Pascal. He was beating young dudes. He was looking good just on his experience and his his respect for the game. So I really think this is going to be a good fight.
Rosado silences the critics of their age by pointing to the fountain of youth found in their disciplined lifestyles. He sets the stage for a historic night at the Sphere, suggesting we're about to witness a miracle of longevity that defies everything we know about the human body. He reminds us that true greatness doesn't just disappear with a calendar flip when you treat your body like a temple. By invoking the ghost of Bernard Hopkins, he warns the skeptics that a master's experience can often outsmart a young man's speed. This isn't just a fight. It's a high-stakes gamble to see if these two icons can truly outrun Father Time one last time. Meanwhile, Stephen A. Smith didn't just question the logic behind the rematch, he made it personal, calling out a man he has defended for decades. He stated, "I'm incredibly disappointed in one of my all-time favorite fighters, my brother Floyd Money Mayweather." Stephen A. sees this as a desperate grab for a check that a billionaire shouldn't need, risking a flawless 50-0 legacy for a few extra zeros. He argues that by entertaining these circus fights, Floyd is dragging his legendary status through the mud and opening his elite space to people who haven't earned the right to be there. It's a stinging critique of a man who seems addicted to the money brand, even if it costs him his dignity. This isn't just about a fight. It's about whether the greatest defensive wizard in history is finally making a mistake he can't dodge. The disappointment in Stephen A.'s voice sets a grim tone for what many fear is a hollow cash grab.
It's really hard to believe that he could be hurting for money in the first place. But I got a feeling that if you think he's hurting for money, he wants you to think he's hurting for money. I think that's kind of his mindset when it comes to him coming back to the ring. And I told you I had a different perspective. For anyone in this world that has a livelihood, that's what they do to support their family. That's what they've done their whole life. That's what they've always wanted to do, and they retire from it. I'm sure that there's something about it that they may miss, that they may wish they could do again, or whatever the case may be. This just happens to be the hurt business, right? So in the hurt business, once you're done with the hurting or the getting hurt, you don't really want to go back into that kind of fire.
Right.
But at the end of the day, this is his livelihood. This is what he's done his entire life. Right. So at some point, you got to get away from this being a financial thing, this being a I want to be popular thing, and all that kind of stuff. And you just got to say, hey, this is what this man has done his whole life to provide, and this is what he loves to do, so he's gonna do it. He's coming out of retirement. If you worked in the factory and you came out of retirement, if you could still pick up that metal, they let you come out of retirement. So why not let him come out of retirement?
But not everyone is convinced that Floyd is doing it for money. Shawn Porter suggests that Floyd's return is actually a deep-rooted psychological need to remain in the only factory he's ever known. He frames the comeback as a human right. If a man can still perform his craft at an elite level, who are we to tell him his time is up? He believes that for a man like Floyd, the gym is his sanctuary and the ring is his identity. By stripping away the financial rumors, he reveals a fighter who might simply be addicted to the itch of competition. It's a reminder that even for the richest man in sports, some feelings can't be bought.
So there's some really good pros about it. He's done some exhibitions. He's shown that he still has the abilities that he's had. They're clearly not what they used to be, but they're still there, and then beyond that, the fact that he lives a good, clean life. He has his fun, and what I like about him, and I'm a lot the same, we have fun without, I call it clean fun, right? So we're out there, but we're not using the alcohol, we're not using the substances and all those other kinds of things. Yeah, we may stay up late once or twice a month, 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, but what's the worst that can happen? And for someone like him, who he got everywhere he got because of this right here, that's never going to change for him, right? So he's just going to lock back in, and he'll literally be the the Floyd of old.
The intrigue deepens as Porter credits Mayweather's clean lifestyle for preserving a version of the fighter that shouldn't exist at nearly 50 years old. He hints that while the world expects a shell of a man, Floyd's discipline might actually bring back a ghost of the past that shocks everyone. He points out that while others spent their youth partying, Floyd was in the gym, effectively freezing his physical age. This discipline allows him to lock back in at a moment's notice, while others are falling apart. It's a testament to the fact that his body might still have one more vintage performance left in the tank.
I'm not really surprised. I think that, again, when you get in the ring with Floyd, when you do a promotion against Floyd, when you have to deal with the business with Floyd, you grow, you learn. Manny has grown and learned the same way that we were notorious for saying Canelo became a different fighter after fighting Floyd. It's how it's supposed to go, you know? So I'm willing to bet that this sanctioned fight is Manny's team pushing against this and saying we need an actual fight against Floyd. If it's not an actual fight, it's nothing. And I think Floyd, you know, he just really believes in himself and knows that that O ain't going nowhere.
Porter shifts the focus to the tactical evolution of Manny Pacquiao, noting that even legends grow after tasting defeat. He suggests that this sanctioned rematch is the result of Manny's team finally forcing Floyd into a real fight where his perfect record is actually at risk. This isn't just a friendly exhibition anymore. It's a team effort to reclaim lost glory. Porter notes that Manny has learned from the greatest, and that growth makes him more dangerous now than he was a decade ago. The stage is set for a high-level chess match where both men are trying to prove they learned the most.
You know, boxing is known as having a walk-up crowd, right? So when you don't see a lot of pre-sold tickets, it's kind of like, I know the promoters, the business, they don't worry about it because they're like, night of, everybody's showing up. I got a feeling we're gonna have a majority of the boxing world, of the sports world, everybody's gonna be pushing against this. This is stupid. What are they doing? Man, Floyd's taking this risk. They're almost 50. They're gonna say everything that needs to be said, but then guess what? Everybody's gonna tune in and watch this one. The same thing happened when Mike fought Jake. It was like, what is this? It doesn't make sense. I can't believe it. I know people personally said, I'm boycotting this, and then you're sitting there, you're watching it, you're like, what are you doing here? Man, just shut up. Just shut up. You know?
Right.
Everybody's going to show up for this.
In a blunt reality check, Porter mocks the boycott culture, predicting that the same people calling this fight stupid will be the first ones to pay for the pay-per-view. He compares the spectacle to the Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul event, proving that curiosity is the most powerful currency in sports. He knows that the hate watchers are often the most loyal customers when the lights go up. People can claim they are done with these legends, but they'll still be refreshing their feeds the second the walkouts start. It's the ultimate shut up and watch moment for the entire boxing world.
Does this knock out the 108 that Tyson and Paul did?
That's asking a lot, right?
That's asking a lot because you have a Jake Paul that's crossed, you know,
Yeah.
He brings a different kind of crowd.
Yeah.
Floyd's touched that crowd. Manny, of course, has touched that crowd. But I don't think they're going to pull in 108.
Yeah.
They 100%, without a shadow of a doubt, they'll do more than 40. I can see them doing maybe 60, 80. But 100 is a little hard to imagine.
Yeah.
But it is Netflix.
Right.
So it is Netflix. So
Yeah, Mike and Jake were doing like a Super Bowl audience. That was
I'm
great.
rooting for the real boxing. Let's
Yeah.
get it with the real boxing. The old guys.
Right.
The financial stakes reach a boiling point as Porter analyzes whether Netflix can propel this fight to Super Bowl levels of viewership. While he's skeptical about hitting record-breaking numbers, he's rooting for the real boxing world to reclaim its throne from the YouTube era. He recognizes that a platform like Netflix changes the game entirely, putting these legends in front of eyes that haven't seen them in years. It's a battle for the soul of the sport. Can the old guard still outdraw the new influencers? He's hopeful that the sheer gravity of these two names will be enough to dominate the digital landscape.
It's really hard to say, you know. I think you get to a point where you've peaked and there's nothing you can do about that peak, right? So what happens once you peak? Once you peak, you start to come this way. You don't stay there, right? So I got a feeling that it doesn't matter that Manny's been a little bit more busier than Floyd. I got a feeling they both have gone beyond their peaks, and they're both probably at the same level, if anything.
A somber note enters the conversation as Porter admits that both men are well past their physical peaks. He describes the fight as a fascinating race against time, where the winner is simply the legend who has managed to keep their peak from sliding into a complete freefall. He acknowledges that aging in boxing is a cruel process that happens all at once. Since they've both slowed down, the playing field might actually be more level than it was in their youth. It becomes a battle of who has preserved more of their God-given talent for this final curtain call.
Yeah, 100%. I really can't tell you Floyd's mindset. I got a feeling Floyd is just kind of who he is. I can't be beat. I'm gonna figure it out, and there's nothing that you can do about it. And salute to him, because he's made a living off of that. For Manny, you look at everything that comes out after the fight and you say, well, those were excuses, the blisters on the feet, and he was injured during camp and all those other kinds of things. For Manny, he's holding on to those truths as those things are behind me, and I'm going to be great, and I'm going to beat him this time out. What I haven't seen from Manny, what I think he really needs is that vicious mindset that he had when he was fighting at 135, 140, and when he first got to 147. He hasn't had that vicious mindset in some time.
Porter digs into the mental state of both men, contrasting Floyd's unshakable confidence with Manny's need to erase the excuses of the past. He highlights the danger of Manny holding on to old truths like injuries or blisters as the only reason he lost the first time. Porter suggests that for Manny to win, he has to find a vicious gear he hasn't shown in years. If Manny is fighting to prove a point rather than to destroy, he might be walking right into Floyd's trap. This mental tug-of-war adds a layer of suspense that transcends mere physical ability.
If you're getting in the ring with Floyd, there's two things I know. Number one, you have to be vicious. You have to be vicious. And number two, which comes along with that vicious, that tenacious attitude, is I don't give a damn about you. And nobody's been able to do that with Floyd.
Porter explains the terrifying mental hurdles required to face Mayweather, noting that you have to be vicious just to make him sweat. He questions if anyone, including a veteran Manny, still possesses the cold-blooded tenacity needed to crack Floyd's legendary shell. He emphasizes that you can't just outbox Floyd, you have to want to break him. This mental edge is what separated Floyd from the rest of the pack for 25 years. If Manny can't find that vicious gear, he might be walking into another defensive masterclass.
No, Floyd can't lose. And it's like, Manny, I think he should have handled business against Mario Barrios. I thought he beat Mario, but he should have handled business. What does that mean? Make this fight look so one-sided that no one can doubt that you've won this fight. And in order to beat Floyd, there's a certain energy you have to have. I'm not sure if Manny can find that energy now. And he's always been him.
Porter believes Floyd simply has a winner's DNA that cannot be taught or broken. He concludes with a haunting thought that despite Manny's heart, Floyd has always been him, and some things in boxing never change. He argues that even a slightly diminished Floyd is still a puzzle that the sport hasn't quite solved. While Manny should have looked more dominant in recent outings, Floyd remains a mystery. Ultimately, Porter suggests that the O might be the most protected thing in the history of the sport for a reason.
I think it's gonna be phenomenal, man. Floyd coming back, we always know with Floyd. Don't Floyd got like 3 fights? He got Tyson fight, he got Pacquiao, then I heard he had another fight in like France or some shit. So I think that 2026, Floyd just, he back on his shit again. He gonna clean up right quick, And that's the great thing about being undefeated, guys. This is what you can do when you have the O. So the O is like it's like a black card, or it's like good credit. It's like an 800 credit score. When you have an undefeated record, I can go in, I can come out anytime I feel like it and demand whatever I want, and they gotta pay me if they want to see me back in the ring. So that's what the old does today. You know what I'm saying? So people say he owed money. None of that means anything. He has a black card that can get the money that fast. You think about it, guys. Even people like us, we get caught up with bills and millions. We stuck. This motherfucker just do 1 fight, 2 fights, exhibition, and he back. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's what the blessing of having an undefeated record. that I'm seeing now going into the world. You know what I'm saying? Because he's undefeated, he's always able to come out at any time and say, I want to get back in the ring, give me this amount of money, and let's make it happen. And because he's who he is, they gotta pay him. Gotta pay him. You know what I mean? So I think it's a great thing.
Zab Judah shakes up the room by comparing Floyd's undefeated record to a high-limit black card that grants him infinite power in the sports world. He argues that even if the rumors of debt are true, Mayweather's 50-0 resume is a golden ticket that allows him to print money and command the spotlight whenever he chooses. This isn't just about boxing. It's about a man who has played the game so well that he can walk out of retirement and name his price. This is the ultimate flex of a legend who knows his worth will never expire. It's a bold defense of Money Mayweather that shifts the focus from desperation to absolute dominance.
You guys don't give Manny edges, but Manny has movement, he has fluidness, he those good combinations. You know, he's a combination puncher with speed and power, so he's always gonna do good. He's elusive, you know what I'm saying? Only thing Manny Pacquiao's probably biggest problem is, and his pet peeve that I always have with him is his defense. Sometimes he slacks on his defense and he gets caught standing straight there and he can't be, you know, connect. But other than that, the guys
Turning his eyes to the challenger, Judah warns that while Manny Pacquiao still possesses the lightning speed and explosive power of a younger man, his old habits could be his undoing. He describes Manny as a phenomenal machine that occasionally forgets to protect itself, leaving a window open for a master counterpuncher. The suspense builds as he weighs Manny's legendary offense against the defensive lapses that have cost him in the past. It's a breakdown that suggests one mistake at nearly 50 years old could lead to a permanent lights-out moment. In this high-stakes rematch, Judah believes the result hinges on whether Manny can tighten his guard before the money trap snaps shut.
Loved every Floyd fight, love the hate, love how he built himself up, love what he did, became his own boss. I love everything about Floyd. Man, it's tough to see one of your idols coming back this late. This is like when I seen Jordan come back to the Wizards. It's like my favorite boxer, but favorite basketball player, but LeBron on the Lakers, especially now. Well, yeah, but it's like Charles Barkley on the Rockets. Hey, Patrick Ewing on the Magic.
On the Magic and the Supersonics.
Damn, he played for Supersonics?
Yeah, he did.
But yeah,
Hakeem on the Raptors. I hope he's going.
Yeah, but don't get me wrong. There's people hyped about this. Mm-hmm. I guess, hardcores like us that really know the game. But there's people like acting like these, my man, they're both in their 30s and we about to get a war. You remember what happened last time? Like, I guess what you think, Floyd's slower or something? Like, what are people counting on?
People
Pacquiao looked terrible against Barrios.
People were just counting on.
Okay. Anthony Ant Brennan hits a nerve by comparing this comeback to seeing a legendary superhero finally lose their step, likening it to the painful final years of icons like Michael Jordan or Patrick Ewing. He sounds the alarm for fans who are delusional about the war they think is coming, reminding us that time is an undefeated opponent that has already caught up to both men. This isn't just a critique, it's a heartbreaking realization from a superfan that watching your idols chase ghosts can be harder to witness than any knockout. He questions what fans are actually expecting to see, especially after Manny's recent struggles showed that the speed and reflexes of the past are officially gone.
You have to take a few steps back in terms of his athleticism, so he might be susceptible to get caught with certain shots, and Pacquiao, he's still his style is still a problem for a lot of different guys, even in his division today, a lot of young guys. So I feel like the reason why people are so hyped, because believe it or not, people still want to see Mayweather lose, no matter how old he is. That's so that is so attached to his persona, his image, to a point where it's like that's him, and it's to the point where he changed the view of boxing, the value of fighters in boxing, to where if you lose that, your stock just plummets. It wasn't always like that until Floyd kind of affected the game.
That was and cons of his moment.
100%. So I think that because of that, it has so much influence. That's why this fight is still that exciting. People still want to see Floyd lose or win, to see if he still has it, to see if he's still the best ever.
How would y'all feel if one of them gets stopped?
Bruce "Shoo Carrington peels back the psychological layer of this matchup, revealing that the hype isn't just about boxing, it's about the world's obsession with seeing a perfect empire finally crumble. He explains how Floyd's O has become a target so massive that fans will tune in until the very end just to see if time can finally do what no fighter could. This isn't just a physical battle, it's a high-stakes drama where Mayweather's entire identity is on the line against a Pacquiao style that still haunts younger fighters today. He suggests that the danger is real because Floyd's slowing athleticism might finally leave the door cracked open for a historic upset.
Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao finally announced their long-awaited rematch. Kenya, I already see you shaking your head.
Nobody want to see that shit, man. I know a lot of people bought the first fight, but it was too late. This fight is entirely too late. But I was wanting to see a 49 and a 47-year-old guy fight, man. For what? I understand it's a payday, cool, but as far as the sport goes, like I don't want to see that shit. Not wasting my time, bro.
Somebody needs some money or something? Is that why they doing this?
I love it. I love it. I'm an avid, long time since I was 6 years old boxing fan. So these are things that keep the boxing world afloat.
Well, I've been the biggest boxing fan for as long as I can remember as well, and I don't want to see this shit.
Gilbert Arenas lights a match and throws it on the entire production, calling the rematch terrible and a slap in the face to fans who expect real competition. He argues that we are being sold an expired product wrapped in shiny new packaging, and he isn't buying the hype for even a second. This isn't just a critique, it's a full-blown assault on the idea that these two legends have anything left to offer the ring. He fears that by the time the bell rings, we won't be watching a fight, but a slow-motion tragedy that tarnishes the memory of their first historic encounter. The suspense lies in his total dismissal of the event. He sets the stage for a disaster that could leave both icons wishing they had stayed in retirement.
Weight classes for a reason, that's been fluctuating lately. And,
yeah, especially since Bud did what he did.
You get what I mean? You know, and a lot of the old time adages, they always held true for like 100 years in modern medicine and everything. The guys, Pacquiao, the way he looked at 46, once upon a time, that just wouldn't have been able to happen because you rely a lot on athleticism. How at 46 are you still darting in and out, retaining a fair amount of what made you what you were? That's why Bernard was able to do, you know, what he did. Is it wasn't too athletic reliant, and Foreman. So the old timers will say the first thing to go is the legs, the last thing to go is the power. So that would actually mean advantage Pacquiao because he's the guy who with the left hand punching power. Floyd turned him all night long in the first fight, but if Pacquiao was just able to retain a fair bit of his athleticism, then maybe Floyd will be able to too. Yeah. Maybe those legs won't be as bad. Because when I was watching Pacquiao in the Barrios fight, and I saw him still dart in and out a little bit, and then what was kind of fun about that fight was since Pacquiao's whole game was slowed down, you could see the machinations, the tricks, because they were so fast before, just like this wild cyclone, and you know. But seeing it slow down, you're like, oh, that's the little. Right. That's what he was doing. But anyways, I was thinking that night at the MGF, you know, Pacquiao might catch Floyd now.
Shawn Ziddle breaks down the science of aging, wondering if modern medicine has finally found a way to cheat the old-timer rules of the ring. He notes that while a fighter's legs are usually the first to go, Pacquiao's power and weirdly persistent athleticism might just be the glitch in the system that gives him the upper hand this time around. By watching Manny in slow motion, Ziddle reveals the hidden traps and tricks that were once too fast to see, suggesting that a slower pace actually exposes the true genius of these legends. It's a fascinating look at a chess match in slow motion, where the last man with a working power hand wins.
Just because, you know, supposedly your reflexes, your legs, those are supposed to be some of the things that go, and maybe Manny could catch him with left hand, but I don't know. It's gonna be what it's gonna be. The people that know more than me, guys that have been champions, Hall of Famers, they tell me Manny can never beat Floyd, and that they're not saying that. Yeah, being you know, taking sides, they're just telling me with conviction he'll never beat Floyd. Do you You think that, Bruce, or?
The suspense tightens as Zittel admits that even with the laws of nature favoring a Pacquiao upset, the boxing elite remain unshakable in their belief that Floyd is untouchable. He describes a haunting conviction among Hall of Famers who insist that no matter how many years pass, the puzzle of Mayweather simply cannot be solved by Manny. This creates a chilling, unstoppable force versus immovable object scenario, where the stats say one thing, but the legends say another. It leaves us wondering if we're about to see a historic "I told you so," or the final proof that Mayweather's ghost is still better than everyone else's prime. The debate surrounding Mayweather versus Pacquiao 2 has split the boxing world right down the middle, creating a fascinating tug of war between nostalgia and reality. On one side, we have the purists and critics like Stephen A. Smith and Gilbert Arenas, who see this as a hollow pursuit of profit that risks tarnishing two of the greatest resumes in history. On the other side, experts like Shawn Porter and Zab Judah remind us that these aren't just athletes, they are masters of a craft who may never truly lose the itch to compete. Whether it's a black card of infinite credit or a final attempt to solve a decade-old puzzle, the gravity of these two names remain undeniable. In a world where influencer boxing has taken over, perhaps there is still room for a masterclass, even if it's performed in slow motion. What do you think? If Floyd risks his perfect record now, does it change how we'll talk about his TBE status 50 years from now? Can Manny's power truly overcome the legendary defensive shell of a man who has never been solved? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel and tune in for more videos like this.